Hello, my dear students. Today we have another meeting and a new session with Unit 3, Lessons 2 and 5. Don't forget that our unit is Suitcase Stories, and today we are going to go through Unit Lesson 2. So before we start, let's go through our learning outcomes for today's lesson. So by the end of the session, you will be able to identify the main ideas in a short text about Egypt. Identify key details in texts about travel experience. Talk about future plans. Express future plans and intentions using going to in affirmative, negative, and interrogative forms. And now let's start with Unit 3, Lesson 2. And today's lesson is about discovering Egypt. So, what can you see here in this photo? I think you can see a suitcase, the one we take when we travel to spend a summer holiday or when we travel abroad out of Egypt. So, if you are going to visit Egypt and you are backing a trip for Egypt, would you please mention three important things that you think it's a must have in your suitcase? Three things that you cannot go without if you are visiting Egypt. Yes, that's the most important things when you are visiting Egypt is don't forget to get your camera, don't forget to get your jeans, to get your t-shirt, and sure your hat. What does this tell you about Egypt's weather? Egypt's weather is warm, especially if you are if someone is coming to Egypt from Europe or America, it will be a hot there. So he must get a hat and he must get a t-shirt and a pair of jeans in order to be feel free while traveling. And sure, a camera is very important to take photos of the most important things in Egypt. And now our friends has already arrived in Egypt and they are going to discover Egypt, but they are going to discover Egypt through this window. So, what do we call this window? It's a window to the world. It opens them to the world of Egypt. We have arrived to Egypt. You have arrived to the hotel room in Cairo. So, please walk to the window and remove the curtains and tell us what can you see. What can you see this in this photo about Egypt? Sure, we can see the pyramids and the Sphinx and Giza. You can see the River Nile, and this is the boat where you can take a Nile cruise around Egypt. And sure, these are the temples at Luxor and Aswan. So you can see the pyramids, the River Nile, and Afluka. So if you are closing your eyes and hearing these words, the pyramid, the River Nile, the Fluka, what can you feel or what can you see or what can you hear? When I hear the word Fluka, I can hear the sound of the water in the Nile. I can see giant stones when I hear the word temples, and sure, this is the hot sun of Aswan and Luxor. Now, do you think people come to Egypt from all over the world to visit Egypt? Yes, a lot of people come from all over the world to visit Egypt. They do so because Egypt has a lot of beautiful weather and a lot of monuments, and sure, the people here are kind and warm. And because we are here visiting Egypt, I'd like you to look at these three photos from our lesson today. The first lesson is about a boat on the River Nile. The second one is for the pyramids, and third one is for Egypt's temple at Aswan. So if you could visit one of these places, which one would you choose and why? If you ask me this question, I would like to go to a boat on the River Nile because I like walking through the River Nile and it helps me relax and feel joyful. Now we are going to have a to read a text, and this text is about a special trip home. So our visitor today is not a foreigner and is not coming to Egypt from abroad. He is an Egyptian person, an Egyptian man, an Egyptian father with his family, and he is traveling out of Egypt for a long time, and now he is planning a visit for his family to Egypt. We are going to read the text in order to decide which places would we like to visit and why. So let's start reading. Next week, Mr. Megid and his family are going to travel to their home country. It's Egypt. He is an Egyptian, but he moved abroad many years ago. Now, he wants to show his family the most beautiful places in their 1 week vacation. First, they are getting ready with their suitcases where they pack light outfits, hats, and sunglasses for the hot weather. Their adventure starts in Cairo. They are going to see the great pyramids of Egypt and the Sphinx. They are very excited to see tombs of ancient Egyptian kings as their father told them stories about the ancient Egyptian pharaohs who built them. Then they are going to take a train south to Luxor. People often call it the world's greatest open-air museum. There, they are going to explore the amazing temples of Karnak and Luxor, and they are going to learn about powerful kings like Ramses II. They are going to Aswan on a beautiful Nile cruise. They are going to take a boat called Fluka and see the beautiful islands. Finally, they are going to spend the last 2 days of their trip in Alexandria. They are going to swim in the sea and build sand castles on its famous beach. This trip is a wonderful chance for the family to know their country together. So, can you mention the places they are going to visit in Egypt? Yes, they are going to visit Egypt from the north to the south. They are going to start at Cairo and Giza with the pyramids and the Sphinx, and they are going to see the miracles of the pharaohs. And they are going to the south to see Luxor and Aswan with its open museums. And they are going to come again to the north to see Alexandria and the Mediterranean Sea, as you are going you won't forget to visit Bibliotheca Alexandrina, which is one of the world's wonders. Now, would you please do the following tasks? The first one is we are going to choose the correct answer. Number one, why is this trip to Egypt very special for Mr. Meg's family? Is it because Egypt has the best beaches in the world? Or because they are going to learn a new language? Or because Mr. Megid wants to show them their heritage? Or because they are going to move back to Egypt? And for number two, we are going to find out how is the family traveling to Luxor from Luxor to Aswan? Are they going by train or fluka or by cruise or by a car? And for number three, we are going to find out what is the family going to do in Alexandria. Is the family going to visit the ancient temples or swim in the sea and build sand castles or see the pyramids and sphinx or ride a traditional boat on the Nile. So if we are going to find out the answer, the first one, the family's trip to Egypt is very special because Mr. Magid wants to show his family their heritage from the north to the south. And his family is going to travel from Luxor to Aswan by Felucca, and in Alexandria, they are going to swim in the sea and build sand castles. We have two questions to answer. The first one is the text says that they packed light outfit for the hot weather. What might happen if they packed heavy winter clothes instead? So if they are traveling and they didn't get or bring the right clothes for the weather, what is going to happen? They would need to buy light clothes to swim to suit the weather. So they will spend a lot of time trying to find out the suitable clothes. And for number two, Mr. Magid is showing his family the places he remembers from his childhood since he was a young boy. So, which two places you wish to visit and why? It is the temples at Luxor and the islands and at Aswan because they are very beautiful and contain a lot of sceneries and a lot of monuments. Now, I'd like you to do something different. We are going to read some sentences from the text, and please pay attention to the words in it. The first one, Mr. Magid and his family are going to travel to their home country. They are going to see the Great Pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx. They are going to take the train south to Luxor. They are going to explore the amazing temples. Let me ask you a question. What can you see here? How many verbs can you see? Yes, are going to travel, are going to see, are going to take, are going to explore. Why is it are? Because always the subject here is plural. Here we have Mr. Magid and his family. And sure, in all the other sentences, it's a plural. We are talking about more than one person. We are talking about Mr. Magid and his family. So we have are going. And also we have another verb to travel. What can you say about to travel? To travel, to see, to take, to explore. They are all verbs in the infinitive. So we are talking here about a structure or a grammar rule which have verb to be, going to, and then the verb in the infinitive. Now we have our friends going to travel to Egypt, and they are going to take the train from Cairo to Aswan. So let's see how their trip is going to go and why. First, we have the driver of the sentence or of the trip, the person who is making the plan, the person who is talking, which is the subject, which can be I or he or she or they, as we were talking about Mr. Megid and his family. This is the subject. This is the person who moves the train, who drives it. So we have first the subject, and then we have the engine. No train can walk without engine. What is the engine here? The engine is verb to be, which can be am, which can be is, and which can be are. The engine which connects the driver to the rest of the train, because the driver can't drive without an engine. This engine is am or is or are. How can we choose? We choose based on or according to the subject. If it is I, we have am. If it is she or he or it or any singular, a verb mufrad, it is. If it is something in the plural, it's I. So what about the rest of the train of our trip? Here we have the track, which are the cars that contains people and things, and that's going to. It's always there, going to. Going to express what are we planning to do, what we want to do. So going to is the track, and this is what helps us to reach our place or our destination. And finally, we have the destination, which is the main verb, which express what we are going to do. We are going to see, to swim, to build, to sleep, to study, to walk. This is the destination which we arrive as in. So if you are talking about going to, we have these main four cars of the train. We have the driver, which is the subject. We have the engine, which is verb to be. And we have the tracks, which is going to. And finally, the destination, which is the main verb. Now, our train has already arrived to its final destination, and going to train has already reached the place. I'd like you to look at this sentence. So, Mr. Megid and his family has made a plan. A plan is a list of things they will do when they come. They are making a plan. They are arranging things that will happen in the future. And that's why they used to going to. So we use going to when we talk about plans or future intention, what we want to do in the future, what things we need to do in the future. And the train, don't forget again, it's the people who drive the train, and the engine, which is verb to be, am or is or are, and going to the track, and the final destination is the verb in the infinitive. So, as we have just mentioned, we have three P's we express with going to. We have the plan, and we have to present our plan and to perform our plans. Look here, what can you see? You can see a calendar, and this is for March, and it's a calendar about Egypt. So this girl or this lady is making plans for the future, which is will be take place in March. So what do you think her plans are? Look at this photo. Yes, her plans is going to travel. She is going to pack her suitcase. And these are the things. So she is planning to spend the weekend in Cairo or in Alexandria or any places. He has prepared a bag, and now she is making the preparation or making the plans. So she has already her suitcase, and she started to put or bag things there. So she has already bagged, and now she is going to, yes, perform her plans, to put her plans in action. So we are going to see the pyramids. We are going to take photos for the pyramids. We are going to visit Egypt. These are the three P's that we use to going to. We have a new friend now, which is Mira. Mira is going on an Egyptian adventure. And this is Mira planning for her adventure, and she is planning for the future, and her future trip or her plan is that next week she is going to visit Egypt or to plan a trip for Egypt. So she is making a plan. Her plan includes the things to pack, and now she is performing her plan. And don't forget that we have their plans for the three P's. As we talk about going to, we said that we have going to train, which is the subject, verb to be, going to, and the main verb. This plan has three forms. The first form is the affirmative. And here is the sentence we use going to. I am going to visit the pyramids. This is affirmative, مثبت. And also going to has a negative form, which is I am not going to visit Egypt. She is not going to visit the pyramids. We use this when we express about we change in our plans. So what's new here to the sentence? Yes, the new is that is the word not. Where is not? Where can we use not? We can use not after verb to be. So I am not going to visit. She is not going to see. They are not going to swim. And the third form is the interrogative, is when we ask a question. Look at this big question mark. So when we use a question, we start with what? Yes, great, with the verb. Is she going to visit the pyramids? Are they going to swim? So we start with verb to be and the subject, then going to and the verb. So here in the affirmative, we start with the engine, then we use the driver, and after that the track, and finally we have the destination. This is what we were just talking about. So in the affirmative sentence, الجمل المثبتة, we use the subject am, is, are, going to, plus the infinitive. For example, he is going to buy a new car. In the negative, we add the word not. He is not going to buy a car. And in the question or the interrogative, you start with either a question word or verb to be. Where are you going to spend the summer holiday? Are you going to travel to Alex? Now it's time to study the table. This is the table which sums up the different ways to express going to, as we have just mentioned, the plans for the future, the affirmative form, the negative form, and the question form, and we have something new that we called the keywords. The keywords are the words that when we find in the sentence, we decide that we use going to. These keywords, these main words are tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, soon, in the future, later, in a few minutes, or in a few hours, or in a few days, and one day in the future. Now let's start by doing some practice with going to. Here we are going to choose the correct answer. For number one, I am going to, or is going to, or are going to, or going to take my passport and take it to the airport. I am going to. I am going to because the subject here is I. What about number two? Noor is going to pack her suitcases with clothes. Why is? Because it's Noor, really. For number three, my friends are going to stay in a hotel by the beach. Why are? Because my friends are plural. They. We are going to wear our sunglasses at the beach. It's also are going to because it's a plural. And finally, Adam is going to take pictures with his family. Now we are going to complete this sentence. He is going to stay in a hotel. They are going to take their passport. I am going to go to pack my suitcases, and she is going to wear sunglasses. Now, if you are going to visit or if you are going on a trip to Egypt, what five things you are going to do? For me, I am going to visit the Valley of the Kings in Luxor. I am also going to take a hot air balloon ride at sunrise. And I am going to eat traditional Egyptian food in a local village. I am going to snorkel in the Red Sea at Sharm el-Sheikh, and I am going to buy handmade souvenirs at Khan el-Khalil. We have five sentences. Each one has a mistake. For number one, we're going to travel tomorrow. Here we have something missing. Can you remember the train? What is missing here? Yes, we are missing the engine. The engine, which is verb to be. So, in order to correct this sentence, we need to add is. She is going to travel tomorrow. For number two, they are going to pack their suitcases. This time we don't have something missing, but we have something wrong, which is verb to be. They are. We are go. No, we are going to build. He are going. He is going to have a ticket. And I am going to visit my cousin next week. And I am going to visit my cousin. She is going to travel tomorrow. We are going to pack the suitcases. We are going to build a sand castle. He is going to have a ticket. And I am going to visit my cousins next week. Now, did you remember we said that we have some keywords which we use with going to? Can you remember these words? Tomorrow, soon, next week, in a few minutes, one day, and finally, later. We have a nice activity for these words, which is to match them with a visual or an image that expresses their meaning. These are the time markers, the 6 time markers, and these are the photos. Please look at the photos and try to match each photo with the word or with the time marker that's best express it. Yes. For number one tomorrow, it's number C. Soon, yes. This point, there is a very small space without it. For next week, there is still some time. In a few minutes, here, it's a short time. And one day, maybe later, and also later is very far for next week. These are the time markers for today. Now, we are going to move to a new lesson. It's lesson 5. You are going to think for some time and create something interesting. Before we start to create our adventure book, we need to answer these two questions. What do you need to buy before you travel on a bus or a train? And why do people take suitcases when they travel? So, if you are taking the bus to Cairo or the train to Cairo or Alexandria, there is something you must have or you must buy before you travel. If you don't buy this thing, you won't be able to travel. What is this thing? Yes, it's the ticket. It's the bus ticket or the train ticket. Without a bus or a train, you won't be able to travel. And generally, before we travel, we bag our suitcases. What's to bag? To get our suitcase and our bags and put things inside them. Why do we do this before we travel? We do this before to travel because we need to take things during our trip, such as clothes, such as healthy and personal items. So we beg in order not to forget these things. We need to bag the clothes, maybe light, maybe heavy. We need to get our lighters, like our toothbrush and our sunscreen and our soap, and also we need something personal like cameras, books, and heads. Bagging is important because it helps you keep everything organized and easy to carry to the new destination. If you don't bag, you will waste some time of your trip trying to get the things you didn't bring from home. Now, look at these things. What can you see? Yes, we can see different means of transport. When we travel, we can use any of these things, depending on where we are going to travel. For example, when we use travel out of Egypt, we use a plane. When we travel inside Egypt, we can use a bus or a train. And sometimes we use a boat. So we are going to design our adventure book about travel. We are going to travel it about our vehicle and our plane. So we are going to travel by plane. A plane flies in the sky, and I am going to get a passport to travel by plane. Can we think of another vehicle? Yes, it's a bus. So we can travel by bus, and I will take the bus, and I am going to take the bus from Cairo to Alex. This was all we have for our lesson today. We talked about our friend's adventure, Mr. Megid and his family's trip to Egypt. We talked about going to train, and we learned that going to train has four main engines, which is going to the driver. I am as the subject, the driver, the engine, verb to be, the tracks going to, and the destination. And these words, these things can be in affirmative or in the negative or in the question word. And also we learned how to create our adventure book. I hope you have enjoyed our lesson today. Look forward to see you next time. See you soon. Goodbye.